This is what Kirke says to Odysseus. She really loves it. Swiftly the loveliest goddess answered me. This is Odysseus, is the narrator in this section. Odysseus, must you have battle in your heart forever? The bloody toil of combat? Old contender, will you not yield to the immortal gods? Well, the Greek fathers can say, you a contender, will you not yield to God and submit yourself, or will you have pride as they did? The nightmare of Scylla and Charybdis, the maelstrom cannot die, being eternal evil itself. That's not our metaphysics. Horror and pain and chaos. There is no fighting Scylla. No power can fight her. All that avails is flight, which Saint Ignatius used to say, what you got to do with certain temptations. Don't fight them, but flee them, especially certain ones, the venereal pleasure and the seduction. There's some very important things that I encourage you to read, but I want to surprise you now. Going from Hugo Rahner, and I might just read a couple of this by way of conclusion. Because when you really see the humility of God and the incarnation and all that it means, and the continuation in the sacraments, and in grace, the indispensability of grace, what an affirmation. And how you can be serene and with your integrity see the deformations and notice what is not there, what the criterion is very often today in our interlocutors. So what I say in the coda, the last couple pages, is two perduring themes of this essay and of Father Hugo Rahner's oft-cited book are Odysseus's wise and lucidly courageous decision. Quote, freely to consent to be bound, like the Franciscans of the Immaculate. They've got a vow, they're bound, they can't move, in a sense. And Volpe, I call him Commissar Volpone, if you know some of the earlier, he's Bolshevik, but so that Odysseus, his decision, freely to consent to be bound to the mast of a ship. And the second thing, how the Christian is like Odysseus, and he talks about the Christian Odysseus, free and yet bound. There's limit, like the discipline of artistic form. You're bound, that's the paradox of limits and the freedom within that. Free and yet bound, but to the cross instead. Thus the pagan myth touches upon Christian mystery. The beginning of Paul Claudel's profound and richly textured, but very lengthy drama, The Satin Slipper, Le Soulier de Satin, first performed in 1943, though first published in 1929, will leave us with another unforgettable image. Not Odysseus bound to the mast, but wait till you hear this.